Hi, my name is Sophia. I am 23 years old, and this is the story of my first big adventure far from home. I come from a small town, and I always dreamed of studying abroad. Last year, I got the chance to join an exchange program in Texas and the United States. I was so excited, but also very nervous. Would I fit in? Would people understand my English? These questions kept me awake the night before I left. When I arrived in Texas, the first thing I noticed was the heat. It was much hotter than back home. The air felt heavy, and I could hear the sound of cicadas buzzing in the trees. The airport was so big, and I got lost trying to find my way to the baggage claim. People were walking fast, and everyone seemed to know where to go except me. "Excuse me," I said to a woman in a blue uniform. "Where is the baggage? The luggage place?" She smiled and pointed me in the right direction. Her kindness made me feel a little better. Finally, I found my suitcase and stepped outside. The sun was bright and the air smelled like warm concrete and car exhaust. A driver was waiting for me with a sign that had my name on it, Sophia. I waved at him nervously. "Hi, I'm Sophia," I said, trying to sound confident. "Welcome to Texas, Sophia," he replied with a thick Texan accent. His smile was friendly, but his accent was hard for me to understand. "Let's get you to the university." The drive to the university was long but interesting. I saw big highways, huge trucks, and billboards advertising everything from BBQ restaurants to cowboy boots. I tried to practice my English by talking to the driver, but he talked so fast. I only understood half of what he said. When we reached the campus, my heart was racing. The buildings were massive, with tall columns and red bricks. Students were walking around, laughing, and carrying books. I felt small and out of place. My dorm was on the third floor of a big white building. The room was small but cozy, with a single bed, a desk, and a window that looked out at a large oak tree. That evening, there was a welcome event for international students. I decided to go, even though I was nervous. The room was filled with people speaking different languages, and I heard laughter everywhere. A tall guy with short brown hair and a friendly smile walked up to me. "Hi, are you new here too?" he asked. "Yes," I replied shyly. "I'm Sophia. I just arrived today." "Nice to meet you, Sophia. I'm Lucas," he said, shaking my hand. "Where are you from?" "I'm from Brazil," I said. "Wow, that's cool." "I've always wanted to visit Brazil," he said. Lucas seemed nice, and he spoke slowly so I could understand. We talked for a while about the campus, the city, and our plans for the semester. For the first time that day, I felt like I wasn't alone. That night, as I lay in bed, I thought about Lucas and how kind he had been. Maybe this new adventure wouldn't be so scary after all. After the welcome event, Lucas and I started spending more time together. He always found reasons to talk to me, and I felt happy every time I saw him. One day, he said, "Let me show you around the city. You'll love it." I was excited, but also nervous. My English wasn't perfect, and I worried about making mistakes. But Lucas said, "Don't worry, Sophia, I'll help you." His smile made me feel calm. We visited a park with beautiful green trees and a small lake. The water sparkled in the sunlight, and children laughed as they played near the shore. Lucas told me about the history of the park and taught me new words like bench, duck, and shade. He laughed when I tried to repeat them, but always corrected me gently. "You're doing great," he said, giving me a thumbs up. "Thank you," I replied, feeling proud. As weeks passed, Lucas showed me more of Texas. We visited a big shopping mall with colorful stores and bright lights. The smell of fresh popcorn filled the air, and I could hear the sound of people talking and music playing. Lucas helped me order food at a fast food restaurant, teaching me how to say, "I'd like a cheeseburger and fries, please." "See, you're learning fast," he said, smiling. I smiled back. Lucas always made me feel confident. When I struggled with English, He encouraged me to keep trying. He said mistakes are part of learning. One evening, he invited me to a local rodeo. The smell of hay and the sound of cheering filled the air. Cowboys rode bulls, and the crowd clapped loudly. I had never seen anything like it before. Lucas bought me a big hat and said, "Now you look like a real Texan." "Do I?" I asked, laughing. "Yes, you do," he replied, smiling warmly. Over time, our friendship grew into something more. Lucas started holding my hand when we walked through the city. He looked at me with kind eyes and said, "You make Texas feel even better." My heart felt full, and I started to trust him completely. He was always there for me. When I felt homesick, he listened and comforted me. When I had trouble understanding my professors, he explained things to me. He made me feel safe in a place that still felt strange and new. "You're not alone, Sophia," he said one day. "I'm here for you." I believed him. Lucas seemed perfect, caring, patient, and always ready to help. For the first time since I arrived in Texas, I felt like I truly belonged. At first, everything seemed perfect. Lucas was kind and caring, always asking how I felt and if I needed help. But then things started to change, little by little. It wasn't something I noticed right away. It was slow, like the way the sun sets. You don't see it move, but suddenly it's dark. One day, as I got ready to go out with some classmates, Lucas looked at my dress and frowned. "Are you wearing that?" He asked, "Yes, why?" I replied, confused. "It's too short." "You don't want people looking at you like that, do you?" He said. I laughed nervously. "It's fine," I thought to myself. Maybe he just cared about me. So I changed into jeans and a t-shirt to make him happy. Another time, I told him I was meeting a new friend from class. He asked, "Who is it? Is it a guy?" "No, it's a girl," I said. "Good," he replied, his voice calm but firm. "Be careful with who you talk to. Not everyone is nice." At first, I thought Lucas was just looking out for me. He would ask, "Where are you going?" Or "What time will you be back?" I thought it was sweet. But soon, it became constant. If I didn't answer his messages quickly, he would send more. "Why aren't you replying? Are you okay?" I felt like I had to explain everything I did. "I'm going to class now," or "I'll be back at 3 p.m. It was like reporting to a boss. One evening, I wanted to go out with my friends to a small cafe near campus. When I told Lucas, he said, asterisk, "Why do you want to go there?" "You don't need to spend money at a cafe. Stay home and I'll bring you coffee." "But I want to go with my friends," I replied softly. "Your friends don't care about you like I do," he said, his tone sharp. "I just want what's best for you." His words made me feel guilty. Maybe he's right, I thought. Maybe he really does care about me. But deep inside, I felt uncomfortable. His care started to feel heavy, like a weight on my shoulders. Soon, Lucas began suggesting how I should spend my time. "You should study more, or don't waste time with those people." Even the way he said "those people" made me feel small, like I didn't know how to choose my own friends. "I'm only trying to help you, Sophia," he said one night when I looked upset. "You're so new here. You don't know how things work." Trust me, but I started feeling trapped. The freedom I loved when I first arrived in Texas seemed to disappear. I missed the days when I could go wherever I wanted, talk to whoever I wanted, and wear whatever I liked without worrying about Lucas's opinion. Is this normal? I asked myself, but I didn't know the answer. One evening, after another long day of feeling watched and controlled, I decided to talk to Lucas. My heart was racing and my hands were sweaty. I practiced the words in my head over and over before I called him. When he picked up, his voice sounded cheerful, but I was too nervous to match his tone. "Lucas, we need to talk," I said softly. "Sure, Sophia. What's wrong?" he asked, his voice calm. Asterisk, I took a deep breath and said, "I feel like you're always checking on me. I need more space." I want to make my own choices. There was silence for a moment. Then his voice changed. What are you talking about? I'm just trying to help you, Sophia. I care about you. I know you care, I replied, my voice shaking. But it's too much. I feel like I can't do anything without telling you first. That's because I want to protect you, he said, his tone sharper now. You're in a new country. You don't understand how dangerous it can be. I'm not a child, Lucas, I said, trying to stay calm. I can take care of myself. His voice grew louder. Really? Because it doesn't look like it. You need me, Sophia? Without me, you'd be lost here. His words hit me like a punch to the stomach. For a moment, I started to doubt myself. Was he right? Would I really be lost without him? But then I remembered how I had survived before meeting Lucas. I had found my way through the airport, started classes, and made friends all without his help. Lucas, I appreciate everything you've done for me, but I can't live like this, I said firmly. I need to be myself. Yourself? He scoffed. Who even are you without me? His words felt like a knife. I didn't answer. My throat felt tight and my eyes burned with tears. I hung up the phone and sat on my bed, staring at the wall. My room felt small and the silence was heavy. I thought about everything Lucas had done for me, helping me learn English, showing me the city, making me feel less alone. I felt grateful, but at the same time, I felt trapped. How did we get here? I thought. When did his kindness turn into control? I wanted to believe he was just worried about me, but deep down, I knew it was more than that. That night, I couldn't sleep. My mind was full of questions and doubts. Part of me wanted to stay with Lucas because he had been such an important part of my life in Texas, but another part of me, stronger now, knew that I needed to take back my independence. I missed being Sophia, the girl who had come to Texas full of dreams and excitement, not the girl who felt small and scared. I have to do something, I whispered to myself. And for the first time in weeks, I felt a spark of courage. The morning I decided to end things with Lucas, the sky was gray and the air felt heavy. It matched how I felt inside. I stood in front of the mirror, practicing what I wanted to say. My hands were shaking and my heart was beating so fast I thought it might jump out of my chest. But I knew I had to do this. I called him and he answered quickly. Hey, Sophia, what's up? He asked, his voice cheerful as always. Lucas, we need to talk. Can we meet at the park later? I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Sure, he replied, sounding curious but not worried. That afternoon, we sat on a wooden bench under a large oak tree. The wind was cool and leaves fell gently to the ground. I looked at Lucas, and for a moment I felt a pang of sadness. He had been such a big part of my life here, but I knew this was the right choice. Lucas, I began, I need to end this relationship. His smile disappeared, and his eyebrows furrowed. What? Why? Did I do something wrong? He asked, his voice rising. It's not just one thing, I said softly. I feel like I've lost myself. I need to focus on my studies and live my own life. I can't keep explaining everything I do or asking for permission. Sophia, I was only trying to help you, he said, his tone defensive. You're making a mistake. You'll regret this. I shook my head, tears in my eyes. No, Lucas, I appreciate everything you've done for me, but this is what I need. He stared at me for a moment, then stood up abruptly. Fine, he said coldly. Do whatever you want. As he walked away, I felt a strange mix of emotions, sadness, relief, and a little fear. But mostly, I felt free. In the weeks that followed, I focused on my studies. I spent hours in the library, surrounded by the smell of old books and the sound of quiet whispers. I joined a study group where I met people from all over the world. They became my new friends, and we laughed together, shared stories, and helped each other with assignments. I started exploring Texas on my own. I visited museums, tried new foods, and even went to a music festival. The colors seemed brighter, the air felt lighter, and I realized how much I had missed doing things at my own pace. One day, as I walked through the city, I noticed a small cafe with a sign that read, "Try our famous pecan pie." I went inside, ordered a slice, and sat by the window. The pie was warm and sweet, with a buttery crust that melted in my mouth. I looked out at the busy street and smiled. I was alone, but I felt happy. This is my life now, I thought, and I'm finally living it for me. Looking back, I don't regret meeting Lucas. He taught me an important lesson about independence and self-worth. Leaving him was hard, but it was the first step toward finding myself again. The sky was blue that day, and the sun shone brightly. For the first time since arriving in Texas, I felt truly free.
Thank you for watching. Enjoyed the story? Subscribe to learn more English through real-life stories, like turn on notifications and comment your city and country. We'd love to know. Let's learn and grow together. See you in the next video.